Welcome to I Wrote That, a podcast where we bring authors and industry experts together to talk about all things books and make the journey to authorship just a little bit easier. My name is Larissa Sohan, and I am the CEO of Next Page Publishing, a hybrid publishing house where we help entrepreneurs write books to grow their businesses. Now, I'm on a mission to help aspiring authors feel like they are in control of the publishing journey and that they are supported by a team of experts who genuinely want the best for them and their books. If you are in the very beginning of your journey, or maybe you have a manuscript that you're finished and you're not sure how to get it out into the world, I encourage you to reach out to us at nextpagepublishing.net. You can schedule your free discovery call and find out how our team of experts can make your journey to being a published author easy, smooth, and successful. Now, without further ado, let's get on to our next amazing guest and make your journey to authorship a little less complicated. I'm very excited to have our guest here today because she is a marketing guru and actually has a best-selling book that she uses to market her business. We have Ellie Natoli is an international best-selling author, speaker, and marketing strategist. Ellie helps coaches and business professionals grow their income, impact, and freedom by using her simple service-first framework. To date, she's worked with thousands of business leaders to scale their profits to the tune of over 40 million in sales. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited for this conversation.
I know. And for my listeners, yes, I had to record that intro twice because I messed up her name. So that's just so me. I am honestly on a streak of messing up people's names, and I apologize to all of the people that I do that to. But Ellie, tell me in your own words a little bit about yourself, how you got started in what it is that you do.
Oh, absolutely. So I like to know myself as someone who helps experts, people who have knowledge, expertise, passion, helping them turn that into three main ways that I do that. And those are the three main issues that I see a lot of times is helping people not follow generic marketing advice, rather market from a place of your own knowing and your own truth. So it's like a light bulb moment when people are like, oh, I don't have to fit myself into somebody else's box. I can actually do it my own way.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, now giving them clarity so they can position their offers and create messaging that means something to them and it resonates deeply to their audience, with their audience. And the last thing that I give them is I just get them out of that daily hustle and grind by giving them the marketing tools and resources and strategies that is going to help them scale, right? And get out of that like daily hustle and grind.
It is a hustle, isn't it? And I think that's so important that I'm starting to find my network in particular more filled with people that are not cookie cutter anymore. There was this trend for a while that everybody did the same thing. Well, I built my 7-figure funnel and it's going to work exactly this way for you. And then people are really disappointed when it doesn't. And that's just like in our coaching programs too, right? We have a framework that we follow, but it is tailored to the author's goals, right? Like the way you market is based on the results you want to see. I know in a lot of ways, my marketing strategies are not based around budget and finances and things like that. That's not what my company is about. And therefore I'm not attracted to the 7-figure funnel kind of a thing, right? Like mine's more connection based and attracting the right people, not just the number of people. And I think that's the vibe that I'm picking up on from you is that it's not cookie cutter.
No, it's definitely not cookie cutter. And especially now more than ever, as we started seeing this trend in 2022. And as we're going into 2024, if you are following cookie cutter strategies, if you are not, connecting with who you are and making sure that the real you comes out, if you're not following strategies that are meant for you, that are in line with your personalities, your values, your beliefs, you're going to blend into the background. That is 100%, that's what's going to happen to you. So, and I've always approached my, marketing, my own marketing and helping my clients from that perspective as well. Just like you, I have my frameworks. My service first framework is in a nutshell, it's like a pathway that I help people see how they can go from like getting in front of a customer, a prospect, all the way to converting them. But how you actually create that strategy once you know what those pieces are, it's all up to you because you have to make sure that you are comfortable with it. It's in line with your values and beliefs and personality. Otherwise, you're not going to be consistent because it's just foreign to you.
I want to use the analogy because it's popping into my head loud and clear right now. It's like the pathway that you're describing, but there's stepping stones. And like there's like, 10,000 different routes you can get to the garden, but you get to choose which stones you step on and you get to choose which route you're taking. It's all forward momentum. It's all going to get you there, but it is not what someone else is doing. And that helps you stand out above the crowd. And now I want to talk about your book because you are a best-selling author and you do leverage that as part of your marketing systems and your funnels and things like that. So can you just give us a little bit about overview of how that looks?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had this book in me almost like 6 years ago that I wanted to publish. And then the content was all there, but I just hadn't brought it into a book. And I saw a challenge, believe it or not, it was like a 30-day challenge to publish your book and make it Amazon bestseller. So I'm like, I got to do this because I have all the content. So, long story short, my service first framework, I call it my not so secret to thriving as an entrepreneur. I published it in 30 days. It did become Amazon bestseller. And at the beginning, I was selling a lot of copies of it. And then eventually I noticed like the sales were going down. And to me, it was a shame because it's just, if you, from my perspective, like if you really understand how to market, like we were talking about, how to market, following the right strategies, but doing it from the place of service and from a place of knowing, a lot of your problems will go away. So I wanted to get this book in the hands of more people. And so I decided to turn it into a lead magnet. And oh my gosh, can you believe it? Like, since I've turned it into a lead magnet, not only now I'm getting it into hands of a lot more people, but I can't tell you how many times a week I either get on a call with a prospect or, someone reaches out to me who says, like, I got your lead magnet and I had to go purchase the book so I can actually highlight it and underline it. So it's just, I didn't expect that. My hope was like I get it in the hands of more people, but now my sales have gone up as well, which is an incredible byproduct of doing it that way.
Books are so diverse in what they trigger in people's minds. Like I always tell pretty much everybody that will listen to me, there's a huge psychology to our readers and to understanding how their minds are working and to our buyers and to our customers and clients and things like that. But there's something different that happens in our brains when we pick up a book. First of all, we get that authority. So those people that are coming to you, they might not have ever booked with you if you hadn't given them your book. They likely would never have bought it because now they've perceived value in you. They've perceived experience and knowledge and authority in you. And you could have done the most bang up masterclass. You could have been on a podcast that was incredible, and people still won't give you that level of authority that they do with a book. And it's staying power, right? Again, this podcast episode is going to air like, let's say 25 to 30 minutes long. Ellie, you're going to sit in their ears for a little while. Maybe they're listening else 1.5 speed, and then it's done. Your book sits with them for days, weeks, and then they buy the copy and it sits on their shelf. And it's just, there's so much more staying power. So I also love that you transitioned and you were okay giving away your content for free. And I think that's a really important distinction for entrepreneurs in this space. And I always tell people on our sales calls, it is not the royalties that make us a big chunk of the change. And so in your experience, Ellie, what has been the return on investment for you as a result of making your book part of your marketing strategy?
Oh my gosh, huge, huge. Like you just touched on, that credibility factor is huge. Like I noticed that from the first day that I published my book, I got my first international speaking gig, like almost within the first month after I published my book. So it's like it does take your platform much, much higher. The perceived expert platform, it really comes across much, much stronger. And like I said, I mean, just having that book and having people experience my approach and to really have the chance to take them behind the scene. Like you said, I'm not going to be able to do that on a 20-minute podcast or through, a blog post, or even if I do a great job on my social media post or inside my group, they don't get to experience that, what my approach is, who I am as a person, why they should listen to me, why they should work with me. So it is one of the best ways to get in front of your ideal prospects. And it's one of the fastest ways to turn them to clients. Not just since I've turned my book into a lead magnet, but over the years, I published this book in 2018. And it's been one of the main ways that people come to me without me even knowing who they are and, immediately wanting to work with me. So it's
Mhm.
signing up for my consult or want to do, coaching or jump into my programs. So I don't have to do all that work to, nurture them or get in front of them and build trust. My book has done all that heavy lifting for me.
Mhm.
So it's a huge return on investment.
Yeah. You're my favorite guest that I've had in quite some time because
Oh my
you're saying
gosh.
all of the magic thing. That's not true. All my other guests, that's not true. I take that back. But there is something so powerful in knowing the potential of a good book. And sometimes when we get on sales calls and things like that, it's like, well, show me the proof. Well, Ellie, you're the proof, right? You're the proof that it works. I'm the proof that it works. And I think a lot of times we follow what we think is socially going to work, and books work. And I also want to be very clear that we are not passively using our books. Books are not something you write and they show up. I can almost guarantee, and Ellie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you were to not just create a freebie and say done, and then all these leads started flooding in. No, you started marketing that particular freebie. It is a very conscious effort to use our books, but the reward can be so high. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have to take the front seat and you're the one who are going to decide how you're going to leverage that book and where it fits in your overall marketing strategy, right? Like for me at the beginning, because I was just selling it, it wasn't a free thing that I was giving away. It had a specific role to play within my bigger marketing strategy. And now it's like at the very, very top of my funnel, and it's the very first interaction in my funnel, and I am like actively driving traffic to that, whether it's like through joint ventures that I'm doing, that's like the first initial thing that they get, or if it's on my social media, it's on my profile, or I'm talking about it all the time in my emails. I'm just referring back to it, although even those people are already on my email list. Or people who join my Facebook group, I ask them if you want to have this book. So, I mean, you got to get creative to see how you can get visibility to your book, whether you're giving it away for free or paid, and where that fits. Like you said it at the beginning, the path, right? What does that stepping stone look like? And what do you want to happen, before and after someone experiences your book?
Yeah, I think I know in our programs this year, we've built out the ecosystem, which is what happens after your book is born, essentially, right? How do you move from that high of holding your book for the first time and being a best-selling author, and then that crashing tidal wave feeling of, oh my God, now what? How do you gap close that? And so you went about it in kind of two different ways. First, you were selling the book, and then it started to taper off, which it does. And then you turned it into a lead magnet. And like funnels and speaking engagements and media coverage for authors is really important. But I think the thing that most authors miss out on is assuming their new identity. Once we become authors, we literally have an entirely new role to start calling ourselves and a new way to start thinking about ourselves, because now we're stepping outside of our coaching programs. We're stepping outside of just our brand. We have this whole other thing that's up on Amazon. It's a product that people can just free willy search and buy. And it's something else. It's an entity that lives on its own. And we need to treat that part of our identity like it's a role that we're taking on. When you became an author, or even now, have you found that there's a transition in the way that you refer to yourself or the way you think of yourself because of that status?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Before that, I was just a coach who was coaching people, right? Helping them. Just to back up a little bit, I originally came into being a coach because we had a design and development agency, me and my husband, and we decided to transition to selling online courses. So that sort of turned into this role of becoming a coach. But I was just a coach, there was no title, there was no, for lack of a better word, there's like no glamour there, right? I'm just a coach. And then once I published my book, it's funny that you said that. It really all of a sudden felt like, oh, I'm now Amazon bestseller author. I'm a published author. And then came the speaking engagement. So like almost over a span of several months, I went from just being a coach to now being seen as an expert and being viewed, by people as like, oh, it's just different, different prestige and different way that people see you and interact with you. And I agree with you. It does change the way people see you and the way you see yourself as well.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to take a really quick commercial break and then we're going to come back and I want to talk about more about assuming that role of author and how we actively live up to that title. Attention, all aspiring authors. Are you ready to turn your book dreams into reality? Look no further than Author Allies, your ultimate companion on the journey to becoming a published author. Picture this: a membership site that offers structure, accountability, skill development, and unwavering support to bring your book ideas to life. That's exactly what Author Allies provides. Dive into weekly writing workshops where you can focus on your goals and stay motivated. Need expert advice? Our monthly Ask the Expert sessions connect you directly with industry professionals for valuable insights. Engage with fellow members through our Beta Reader Switch program, perfect for refining your manuscript before publication. Get access to a list of our verified resources so that when it's time to edit, design, and publish your book, you know where to turn. You can also enhance your craft with our writing training modules. Complete the exercises designed to elevate your skills and participate in the challenges. And as an added bonus, you can enjoy exclusive discounts on our future programs to help you streamline your publishing services. And if you're looking for a little bit more personalized advice, you will have access as a member to our one-on-one coaches to provide tailored support from our experienced professionals. Your literary dreams are within reach within our community of like-minded authors and expert guidance. Visit nextpagepublishing.net to join the membership and create a community around you and your book that guarantees your success. All right, we are back with Ellie, and we're going to keep talking about the transition from just a coach to a published author, to a best-selling author, to the author of a 5-star read, whatever title it is that you are most excited about. How do you fully embody that role? And now, I really want to ask you about the speaking engagement that you got right after you published your book. How did that all transpire? What came of it? Like, tell me more about that.
So, at the time that I was publishing my book, I had started a Facebook group, and I was also part of other Facebook groups. So the book allowed me to sort of like, oh my gosh, I just published a book. I became Amazon bestseller. And because of all the promotions that I was doing prior to that, I was getting in front of a lot of people. And I was getting a lot of engagement, a lot of new members inside my own Facebook group. And one of the people who had just joined the group, had been following me for a little bit, saw that I became Amazon bestseller. They just reached out to me and said, we have this big conference in Malaysia, and we would love for you to come and speak about, it was about online course creation, because that's what my platform was all about. But yeah, they reached out to me and they wanted me to speak on how to create online courses and how to monetize online courses. So I don't think that first speaking engagement would have come about had I not been talking about my book the way that I did, and had I not gotten that type of visibility on the level that I did.
And I think visibility is so important. And a book does a couple of things. One, it makes us a subject matter expert. but it also lets the world know what we are subject matter experts about. So these people at the venue obviously saw your book. They saw that they had a hole in their speaker lineup and said, boom, got her. This is who we need to talk about this topic. She's a newly published author. She's got fresh ideas. She's candid. She's marketing. She's got an audience. She has all these things, but they wouldn't have seen you in that light if you didn't have the book to stand behind you. And so in our programs, we focus a lot on that ecosystem of how do you develop your speech as a result of your book so that your book, you can sell it on the back end of your, I mean, when you went to this event, did you sell your book? Did you bring copies of your book and sell
I
it
brought
outside?
copies of my book. Yeah. And for years and years, any speaking engagement that I did, whether it was local or on a national level or international level, I showed up with my books and I sold my books. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to, right? And part of our marketing plan is developing what you're going to do to use your book because your book is a tool. Your book is not the answer to all of your problems, but it certainly becomes that stepping stone. I'm loving this analogy, that stepping stone on your path to whatever your goals are, to that garden that you've been chasing. Your book can do as much as you want it to do as long as you know what those goals are and you know what steps you're willing to take to get there.
I love that you mentioned how, you help your people that once you have that book, how do you create a messaging around your book? Because, for a lot of people they look at the different pieces in their marketing or in their business as like disjointed pieces. Like I have this book, I have this, expert knowledge, I have this service, I have this online course, so, on and on. And there's no cohesive messaging that connects everything together.
Mhm.
And I love that, once a book is published, you help people figure out, okay, how do you create that messaging and that ecosystem? And you touched on that a couple of times as well. That is so, so important. Like, where does that fit into this overall ecosystem that you're building
Yeah.
for yourself? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's again, it's about embodying that identity. You have a new identity to assume. And part of writing the book is getting crystal clear on what your message is and who it's for. And once you understand that, these little silos of marketing that you're talking about, I've seen it 1,000 times to Sunday. And it's about bringing those all together. It's not silos anymore. It's a web, and they all link together and they all tie together. And suddenly you're working smarter, not harder. We're all working so freaking hard right now. It's like, well, let's step back and start working smarter. And your book can help you do that by giving you the clarity, by creating those little webs that connect everything together. So it's all one beautiful ecosystem, because that's really what marketing needs to be, is an ecosystem. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to ask you questions. Specifically, how do you market your lead magnet for your book?
So my lead magnet, I have several ways right now that I'm marketing it. I've become really big on doing joint ventures since beginning of 2023. So that's become one of my most favorite ways. Now, from the very first time from the very beginning when I started my business, I was really big on connections and partnerships, but I wasn't doing it at the scale that I'm doing it now. But all that to say that, if you can find other people to partner with, people who have your ideal audience in their, audience, that's a really good way to leverage your book and use it as a lead magnet. And that's one of my main ways that I'm doing it. And of course, I have it on my website, front and center, for someone who, happens to visit my website through like my blogs or, SEO. I have it on my social platforms, on my profile, up front and center, and I'm driving traffic through there. And then, in my email signature. So, I mean, sky's the limit. I can go on and on. You just have to get creative about, how you're getting visibility and how you're going to use, if you are going to use your book as a lead magnet, how can you make sure that that is also visible, and somehow, the channels that you're creating, you're also making your book visible, your lead magnet visible for people to see.
I think that's so frustratingly important that people don't make their books visible. I use LinkedIn as a lead magnet. I do outreach on LinkedIn. Sometimes I'll come across people, I've been following them for a while, and I'm like, man, you would write a really good book. And so I'll send them like, hey, have you ever considered writing a book? Like, you have an incredible topic. You're very well written, spoken, whatever you want to call it. And I think you could have like a 5-star read on your hands here. And they'll be like, oh, I did write a book. And it's like, okay, where is it? Why can't I see this? Because I've looked at their profiles, I've gone to Facebook, I've looked at their website, and it's nowhere. And yet they're still like, no, no, I've written a book. I don't need to do that. And it's like, well, are you using it? Because you're missing out on thousands of dollars if your book's still in line with your niche. And if it's not, well, then it's time for a new book. But people don't, and it could be partly fear and imposter syndrome and just generally being nervous that you don't love the quality of it, you don't like the way it looks or who it's attracting. Well, then that's a book problem that you can fix. But otherwise, you're sitting on a gold mine that you're not using. And that always baffles me when people tell me, oh, I actually already have a book. And they're kind of like indignant that I didn't know that about them. And I'm like, how? How would I know that? Okay.
In a lot of ways, I don't blame them though, because I've come across a lot of people who've, at some point, I mean, obviously they're expert at what they're doing and they got so excited and they've published their book and they had all these hopes of selling royalties and making decent money. And nobody's really helping them understand that's not how you're leveraging your book. So it's in a lot of ways, it's a disappointment to them that they
Yes.
published this book and it's just there and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how that fits into the rest of their business model. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I blame them if you run
Oh,
into people
yeah.
like
I
that.
think the blame comes when like, oh, well, you should have known I wrote a book and it could and what's the word I'm looking for? The victim mindset of like, well, it's just not selling. And it's like, well, are you really doing everything in your power to sell this book? And I do agree there is a lot of entrapment in the publishing industry when we publish with particularly Vanity Press, and I have talked on this a lot. They will publish anything under the sun and they don't care how it does after the fact. They don't care what the content is. They don't care what your systems are. They don't care that you don't know how to use it. And so, yeah, they promise us that we're going to make millions off of royalties and then we make pennies. And it's incredibly disappointing. I have a lot of empathy for that process because I have been in those shoes. And that's why in 2024, we've introduced the ecosystem, right? Like I'm done with publishing books that people don't know how to use. And I'm done in a sense that it's not ethically sound on my part as a publisher to do that to my authors, to give them a tool that they don't know how to use. That's not right on my side. And so I want more companies to start closing that gap. It's not an optional service, it's mandatory. You are going to tell your people how to market their books and to use them. That is a non-negotiable item of publishing a book because nobody's happy. If your book goes out there and nobody reads it and you spent 6 years writing it and you're devastated, well,
Yeah,
of
what was the
course you're not
point?
going to talk about it. Yeah, of course.
What was the
I'm
point?
glad you brought that up because you're absolutely right. There is a lot of empathy there for, I had such big dreams for this book. I just don't know what to do. But you have to take ownership in finding those answers, in finding Ellie, in finding me, in finding someone that's going to help you understand how to market that book. Now, with authors, if someone came to you and said, I have a book, do you have a strategic path that you walk them down that starts to incorporate that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So it depends on what other offers they also have, outside of, do they have a coaching service or done for you service? And, and then do they have like scalable offers? So we sort of look to see where their book fits into this bigger picture and how to use that. Maybe it's like a low ticket sell to bring people into their funnel, or maybe they want to do what I'm doing, which is like using it as a free offer to bring people, easier into their funnel. But oh yeah, when I work with people, I look at all their offers, whether it's a book, an online course, a coaching program, done for you service, and we create like a holistic strategy of how do we bring all of those into one business model that works for you? And like you said, the ecosystem that you're creating with all your activities, marketing activities, that encompasses all of these offers and make sure that you're leveraging all of them to be able to transition your prospects all the way to becoming clients.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm going to wrap up with my two favorite questions. The first one is, do you have any offers that you'd like to offer our listeners today?
I would love to offer them my Service First Framework book. It
What?
is
What a
free.
surprise!
What a surprise, right? So I think they would really benefit from the strategies, which is, all the stuff that I touched on. Part of it is, how to market from the place of your truth and by like having a customer centric marketing strategy. And then the tactical part of what does that marketing strategy looks like? What are those stepping stones that you have to take your prospects all the way through to becoming clients, right? So yes, I would love to give that, offer that to your audience. And if they go to ellienatoli.com/elevate, they can grab their free copy.
Perfect. And I will definitely put that link in the show notes and I will grab my copy as well because I also want to read this book. It'll get on my TBR list, which is about next year. So
Well, I'm
I'll
humbled.
get to it next year, but I will read it. So that's wonderful. Okay, my last favorite question is what advice do you have for aspiring authors?
Well, the advice that I have is, it's no accident that you want to publish your book. It is coming from a deeper mission, right? You have this mission that that a lot of people can be impacted by whatever it is that you're amazing at, by your zone of genius. And so, my biggest advice is like create that big vision for yourself and make it bigger than life because there's nothing that's stopping you. Create that container, create that tension. And believe me, the road to getting there becomes visible and more visible and more visible as you take those steps. So there's nothing stopping you. You might be putting roadblocks in front of you.
I was going to say
But
the only thing stopping them usually is themselves.
yes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
Dream big.
dream big and then build the pathway that you're going to take to get there. I
Yes.
love that. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of I Wrote That. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to our show so you don't miss any of our upcoming guests. And if this has led you to some inspiration to want to get started on your own authorship journey, whether you just have an idea or you have a manuscript that you're ready to publish, reach out to us at nextpagepublishing.net and we will match you up with our team of experts to make the journey simple, easy, and smooth.